I see a lot of videos about how to brood baby chicks, and I follow the advice on those, and the general idea online is pretty good, but through trial and error after about half a dozen different rounds of doing this, I've realized, man, there is a much cleaner, much easier way to do it. Let me show you our way that is cheaper, less impact on the chicks, and a whole lot cleaner for you and me. So we're actually gonna, why can't I point? Don't I know how to point? This is a chicken tractor. This is the John Suskovich model. We love it. We did it, I say we, my wife built this. I helped, I did the easy stuff. We love this. It's, if you watch any chicken tractor video online, you know what the purpose of it is. The idea of a chicken tractor is to let chickens graze the greens and the bugs in the ground and allow you to keep them safe and move the chickens daily or twice a day probably as they get older. So it keeps them protected from predators, but gives them fresh light. And basically it's a forced mob grazing situation, which mob grazing is amazing. But what does that mean for chicks? Let me show you. We stumbled onto this the last time we brooded chicks, and this came because there's a lot of advice on brooding chicks indoors, in your garage. I know people who've done it in their bathroom. We've done it on our porch. The problem with that is that as these chicks get older, they throw a lot of dust. The people that think they can do it in their bathtub, you're going to be wiping dust off of your walls. I just don't recommend it. So let's talk about this. So first of all, this is the first stage of it. You see, that's what I want to talk about. See how they're about ready to jump out? This is the last day that they're going to be in this stage of this. So this is, these chicks are about 10 days old. I would say probably between 7 to 10 days is when you can do this. But I wanted to start this video out with stage 1 of where the chicks are, which is basically your typical brooder setup. We got a heat lamp, we got chicks, we got water. You've got kind of the bedding that you throw in there once a day to pad down the poop. But the problem with that is that as you do that, it makes the ground go up. And they are also growing on top of that ground that keeps going up, which means that they're going to jump out of something like this. And unless you want to fork over a stupid amount of money for a big box that is actually meant for brooding chicks, whereas this thing from Costco is like $10, there's a better way, is what I'm saying here. So the idea is to basically graduate them off of what they're currently in right now and move them to grass. When we move them to grass, the heat lamp still exists, okay? We don't take away the heat lamp, they are still chicks. But you'll notice that it's off right now. Despite the fact that it looks kind of dark and gloomy today and that it's overcast, it's actually about 80 degrees here. So they're doing just fine outdoors. That's why we like doing chicks this early in the year, because we still have cool nights, but the days are just fine for chicks to be exposed. Also, when the sun is out, this chicken tractor can kind of hotbox it and keep them a little extra toasty in there. And the tote provides a windbreak. So they're plenty warm, but when the night comes, obviously we do have an extension cord here. Let me show you the magic of that. So right here, we have a timer that basically when the sun goes down until when it goes up, or the first few hours in the morning, the light kicks on. So what I really like about the heat lamp being attached to a timer is that it automates the whole process. It's just very little work, and isn't that what we're all about? Homesteading's hard. Homesteading takes a lot of time. And I know some people that pride themselves on never having a free moment, but that's not why I got into it. That's probably not what you're all about. So we really like this method. Now for the people out there that say, well, hey, what about predators? Is this snake proof? Well, I mean, if a snake was truly motivated, I'm sure it could get in there. There is some more checking that you want to do. You can't just put this anywhere. You want to make sure you've got really level ground. But think about that. Is this snake proof? Is this predator proof? Whether they're chicks or full-grown chickens, they're still, a walking dinner plate for predators. So yes, they are chicks, but if you're not confident in it for chicks, you probably shouldn't be confident in your chicken tractor setup for adult chickens. So we've never lost a chick this way through predators. Guys, I look like a wreck because I've been dealing with some crazy stuff with the pigs. Shameless plug to subscribe, because I just kind of filmed what was going on over there. It was nuts. So subscribe so you can catch that video. But let me finish talking about the baby chicks and our brooder setup, because as promised, I was going to come back later and show you guys how this setup evolved. So let's step into the tractor. So here we are. We're back in the same tractor, although it's been about 2 weeks since I picked up with you last, and you can tell these birds have grown quite a bit. Man, look at that one. What a chunker. As you can see, our little chicks got feathers, which means dun, 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 no heat lamp. Are you trying to get out? So as you can see, they have feathers, which means no heat lamp, at least for us in the summertime. We just don't need one. And so what they're doing right now is they're in the tractor. They're on grass, okay? They're eating bugs every single day. And so what I just wanted to highlight and talk about here is a lot of people don't brood like this. A lot of people think this is too young for chicks to be out on grass, but we just disagree. Can you get off the food, please? But the point that I want to say right here is we just like to put our chicks on grass as early as possible, okay? Just because they're not fully feathered out, they're not layers yet. They're definitely all still very young birds. Grass is still better for you and for me. They're not throwing dust in the house. They're not in my bathtub. I see so many people online saying, look, you can brood chicks in your bathtub. When they get to be this age and get their feathers in, they're going to start throwing dust, and your walls are going to look disgusting. It's not a fun place to be. So I'm not saying everyone has to brood their chicks like this, but what I do believe is that just because conventional wisdom, or in other words, the way that things have always been done, says to do something one way, it doesn't mean you have to do it that way, especially when it's your own farm, your own homestead, your own chicks. That's your call, that's your thing to make, and it's through experimentation and asking the question, can this be done a better way, a different way, an easier way, a way that takes less time, a way that gets these animals out of my house, gets the electricity needs off of the animal. It's worked out for us. And so if you live in a warm region, or if you've got a time of the year that's particularly warm, that's probably a great time to do this. Think twice the next time you start brooding chicks, because there's probably a better way than what conventional wisdom says to do. I'm PJ with the High Mountain Homestead, and I hope to see you on that next video. Thanks for coming by today.